CTV News with Ricardo Veneza.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. Ricardo is off. Windsor police have identified a suspect wanted in relation to hate-motivated graffiti. Police have now issued an arrest warrant for 38-year-old Stephen Pargillan. Pargillan is allegedly responsible for defacing electrical boxes and garbage cans with derogatory language targeting racial and 2S LGBTQ+ communities. This happening along Ottawa Street on August 10th during Pride weekend. Police say he's wanted on 2 charges of public incitement of hatred and mischief under $5,000. He is described as a white man, 6'3", with a heavy build, long brown hair, and a full beard. Also this hour, an alert has been issued tonight from the Windsor-Essex County Health Unit's Opioid and Substance Use Notification System. Officials say between August 10th and August 16th, 10 opioid overdoses were reported by local hospitals, 5 involving fentanyl. Meantime, a 39-year-old Essex man is facing several charges following a drug trafficking investigation in Essex. On August 14th, OPP searched a home on Talbot Street North. Officers seized a number of drugs, including cocaine and drug trafficking paraphernalia. A prohibited weapon was also confiscated, all at a value of $14,500. Police in Chatham-Kent are investigating after a 74-year-old man was assaulted in a road rage incident. Police say a verbal dispute between a 30-year-old Windsor man and a 74-year-old Chatham man escalated around 1:30 in the afternoon on Thursday. The senior was assaulted and later treated by EMS. Officers arrested and charged the younger man with assault. 4 alleged stunt drivers were taken off the road during a recent traffic blitz. Police say in a 3-day period, officers issued 176 tickets for a range of driving offenses, including ticketing 3 men and a woman for stunt driving. Police say a particularly concerning incident occurred just before 9 p.m. Wednesday on Tecumseh Road East near Paulette. An officer says they saw several motorcycles performing stunts in the roadway and driving without regard for public safety. A 19-year-old man was subsequently arrested and charged with dangerous driving, stunt driving, and operating an unsafe vehicle. In other news, Carney is taking a new approach in stalled trade talks with the United States, extending an olive branch of sorts. CTV's Abigail Beeman now on the announcement and the hope for positive outcomes.
After a phone call with the American president yesterday, the prime minister is now trying to sell Canadians on the idea that no new deal with the United States is actually the best trade deal in the world.
We're matching what the United States has done, what the president has done. We have the best deal of any country with the United States right now.
As of September 1st, Canada will drop counter tariffs on U.S. goods covered by CUSMA. Those have been an irritant for Trump, and the Prime Minister indicated that in their Thursday phone call, Trump said getting rid of them would kickstart negotiations. Carney saying they're now intensifying. In the Oval Office, the President now saying he wants to be very good to Canada.
He's removing his retaliatory tariffs, which I thought was nice, and we're going to have another call soon. Okay. Yeah, we had a very good call.
You're getting closer towards an agreement on trade?
I like them.
Carney is trying to sell this as matching the U.S., using that word multiple times, since the U.S. has no tariffs on CUSMA-exempt goods. But the tariffs that remain from the U.S. on steel and aluminum are higher than Canada's.
We're not raising those today. We've matched the tariffs on autos, similar structure as the U.S. We do have a difference between our tariff on U.S. steel and our tariff on U.S. aluminum. Those are part of the intensive discussions that we're underway right now.
Ahead of the announcement, the Prime Minister brought Cabinet together in a virtual meeting, and the minister responsible for U.S. trade briefed the rest of caucus after. Carney also said the renegotiation of CUSMA could take as long as 18 months to work out. Trade experts say what happens there will be the real issue for the long term. The Prime Minister is also promising a new, quote, industrial strategy in September for all sectors hit by tariffs, mentioning autos and agriculture in particular. The Prime Minister has long talked about diversifying trade partners in the face of the U.S. trade war, and next week he heads to Germany to work on that, bringing along a handful of key ministers with him. Abigail Beeman, CTV News, Ottawa.
Opposition leader Pierre Poilievre responded to what he called concessions by the Prime Minister.
Mr. Carney being the negotiator he promised he would be, that he would get something after giving something. But not so. Today we learn that it has been yet another capitulation and climb down by Mark Carney. His elbows have mysteriously gone missing.
Poilievre pointed out that Carney did not get anything in return for the removal of tariffs and says today's actions continue to, quote, show the weakness Carney has shown on the world stage. Turning now to an escalation of the lockout at Titan Tool and Die. The union says the company has cleared out the remaining equipment and raw materials from the Howard Avenue plant, sending it to the U.S. CTV's Sanjay Maru has an update.
Once a long-standing die-making metal shop, Titan Tool and Die now sits empty, not just of workers, but according to the union, of equipment and raw materials as well.
They came, they took what was left of the steel, the raw steel. They pulled that out to the United States.
It's an escalation of the nearly 2-week strike at the nearly 70-year-old Howard Avenue facility. The union says management is demanding wage and benefit concessions despite the fact wages have been frozen for more than a decade. 60 employees work at this facility, but due to layoffs, only 27 are considered active workers. Windsor City Councillor Kieran McKenzie, who championed a Buy Canadian policy at City Hall, says Titan Tool's move highlights a bigger concern.
This is one of the initial signs that we're seeing a direct consequence of really poor trade decisions that are happening in the United States.
McKenzie points out Ottawa is still in talks with Washington and warns other companies could follow Titan's lead if governments do not step in.
The elbows still need to be up, that we have to be looking at all of our options in terms of when it's possible to be able to buy and focus on the local market, local, hyper-local.
And the numbers show the stakes. The province's financial watchdog reports nearly 40,000 jobs lost, 30,000 of them in the manufacturing sector. According to the Financial Accountability Office, American tariffs are partly to blame. Back at Titan Tool, the question now is, what happens next for workers left on the outside looking in?
That's a good question. What are the next steps? The next steps are to try to get them back to the bargaining table with no concessions.
Some of the other concessions the union says they are fighting against include cuts to benefits and the loss of cost of living pay. Sanjay Maru, CTV News.
Meantime, parents in Windsor and LaSalle are being urged to prepare for a possible school bus service disruption as early as the second week of September, following a breakdown in contract negotiations between Unifor Local 195 and First Student Canada. While several bus companies provide transportation services to the 4 local school boards, this potential job action would only affect students who ride First Student buses. The company operates 114 bus routes in Windsor and LaSalle, transporting approximately 7,000 students. According to the union, First Student left the bargaining table and has threatened a potential lockout. Unifor Local 195 President Emile Nebout says the union held a meeting with members earlier this week, during which 98% voted in favor of strike action if necessary to support contract demands. Nebout says the union represents 180 drivers and that a government-mandated 17-day cooling-off period is currently in effect. In the event of a strike or lockout, families would need to arrange alternative transportation for their children. First Student is encouraging parents to visit the parent portal at buskids.ca.
Parents and guardians can log in using the same email address they have on record at the school. Inside that, there's a transportation tab, which will show which bus operator each child is registered with.
Big news for healthcare in Chatham-Kent today. The province is investing more than $1 million to help connect thousands of residents with a family doctor or nurse practitioner. The Ontario government announced $1.37 million that will connect around 3,000 residents with access to family doctors, nurse practitioners, and other health professionals. The Chatham-Kent Ontario Health Team says the expansion will mean ongoing checkups, chronic disease management, and improved access to allied health professionals like social workers, dietitians, and respiratory therapists. Officials say this is part of a much larger $213 million provincial plan to expand primary care teams across the province, with the goal of connecting every resident to a family doctor or nurse practitioner by the year 2029.
This local healthcare team are great stewards of their finances. Every dollar is spent wisely, and this will be spent on the areas of supports where it's needed most.
Giving somebody access to primary care allows them to really take control of their health, think about preventative healthcare needs, think about cancer screenings, seeing regular doctors for vaccine appointments, and also access to team-based care sites.
Back to school can be a stressful time for many families, and this year rising costs are making it even harder. In Chatham, Free Help CK is poised to present 3,000 backpacks to registered families ahead of the school year. Tomorrow and throughout next week, students in Chatham and the outlying communities will receive their school supplies. Organizers say demand this year increased a bit, noting about 1,800 backpacks were given away in 2024. This year, the group is also giving away $10 gift cards and extra supplies, along with free back-to-school photos and coupons for haircuts.
Yeah, everything's expensive, but if you're a family that's working, that little increase is a big increase, right? So our goal is to make sure that the kids go back to school with a good start.
When you see when that child actually receives that backpack, right, that smile on that face, that sense of confidence they have for their very first day, it means the world to them, and that's why we do what we do.
And the United Way in Windsor, Essex also stepping up with a program to help. Volunteers will be handing out 2,000 free backpacks on Saturday for local students. Each one is filled with supplies to help kids succeed in the classroom. Organizers say the need is especially high this year, with families feeling the pinch of rising prices made worse by tariffs, driving up costs on essentials. The University of Windsor is getting a new residence, and according to their officials, it's going to be a Canadian first and might just qualify for a Guinness record. CTV's Michelle Masotti explains.
Using these printed walls, faculty at the University of Windsor are building Canada's first 3D multi-story student residence.
It will be located on our campus at 1025 California Ave and is expected to open just next summer in 2026. It will house 7 residential units geared towards students.
The university will also be able to use this project as a hands-on learning lab for engineering students.
To build what I hear could be a Guinness Book of World Record, not just a net zero student residence, but a 3-story net zero, which would be the first of its kind in the world, which is incredible.
Minister of Artificial Intelligence and Digital Innovation Evan Solomon in Windsor Friday to unveil a $12 million boost to housing innovation ideas. The money will be split with 5 other agencies or companies from across southwestern Ontario, including home builder BK Cornerstone.
This funding allows us to accelerate the development of our automated wall panel production line.
Brent Klundert says the walls they're making will be more energy efficient than a typical home build.
Through this project, we will reduce build times, cut construction costs, and increase housing output. Most importantly, we'll be helping Canada meet its climate goals by embedding net zero performance into every panel we ship.
The funding is coming from the Regional Home Building Innovation Initiative, which has $50 million earmarked to be spent by the end of next year.
The way through any crisis is to build, to keep investing in solutions, because the problems we're all facing about housing, sustainability, they're not going away. We need you.
Michelle Masotti, CTV News.
Meteorologist Julie Atchison has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. And still ahead, tragedy in New York State after a devastating highway crash involving a tour bus. For more on what you can expect this weekend, meteorologist Julie Atchison joins us for an extended look at the forecast. Julie.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Conditions across our region today were picture perfect. So much sunshine. It was a gorgeous afternoon with low humidity. We're going to hold on to the comfortable conditions heading into your Saturday. Today, temperatures in the mid-20s. Tonight, skies will be mainly clear. We'll dip down between 15 and 16 degrees across Essex County, and the winds will be light, generally out of the south, but light and variable through the overnight. Watch for a bit of fog developing. We do have some cloud cover and a little bit of rain that's moving through northern Ontario tonight, all associated with an area of low pressure. That low will swing a cold front over the Great Lakes Basin this weekend, and that will usher in some colder conditions as we head into your Monday. We'll be talking fall-like temperatures across the area. So high pressure drifts to the east, allowing this cold front to come in. So as the front approaches through the day tomorrow, we'll start to see that cloud thicken in the afternoon with a chance of showers. Possibility of a few thunderstorms developing out ahead of that boundary anytime in the city after about 5 o'clock. Let's take a closer look at the forecast model, and you can see this is 6 o'clock as it moves out over Lake St. Clair and then pushes towards Pelee Island, Point Pelee, and the rainfall will continue. Now, it's going to be fairly brief, so you'll get through the better part of your day dry, and then Saturday afternoon into the evening as the front starts to make the move through, we'll see the chance for scattered showers and thunderstorms. It's a slow mover, and this will be the leading edge of some cooler air, but the cool conditions really don't take hold until we hit Sunday night into Monday. So we'll see some scattered showers across parts of southern Ontario Sunday, although our probability is on the very low end at just a 30% chance. Your Saturday forecast, waking up to sunshine, a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon. It'll feel like the low 30s, the forecast high 26, with winds out of the southwest. The probability of showers in the evening, 40%. 25 degrees, mix of sun and cloud on Sunday, back into a mix on Monday. And here's where the temperatures cool off. So if you're not a big fan of the heat, I think you're going to absolutely love next week. It's almost like a fall preview. Mix of sun and cloud Tuesday, sun-filled skies Wednesday and Thursday. Daytime highs creeping back up, though, by the end of the week. A mix of sun and cloud on Friday, and we're back up to 27. So we'll bookend the forecast with temperatures that are normal for this time of year. In between, some cooler air arriving to the region on Monday. Stephanie?
Thanks, Julie. Now, there are concerns tonight for those who rely on disability benefits, with reports that people have not received them. CTV's Adrian Gobriel is following the story.
Canadians who depend on federal disability benefits have been left with an empty feeling at the ATM this week.
I checked and it's not there, and I went, okay, no breakfast.
In July, Ottawa began making payments through its new federal disability benefit that tops out at $200 a month for a total of $2,400 a year.
It lets them buy some essential over-the-counter painkillers, maybe, pay for their food, pay a backlog of bills and debt, pay their rent.
This past Thursday, Canadians living with a disability, like Victoria State, were supposed to receive the program's second payment. Many have been left empty-handed.
Excuse me, you started a program for people who are struggling.
CTV News called the Canada Disability Benefit Call Centre hotline. We were greeted with this voicemail.
Due to a system issue, some Canada Disability Benefit payments issued by direct deposit for the month of August 2025 will be delayed. We apologize for the inconvenience.
In March, Prime Minister Mark Carney eliminated multiple cabinet positions, including the now former Minister for Diversity, Inclusion, and Persons with Disabilities. Advocates say issues like this are proof that Carney's move was a mistake.
This basically means that we are lumped into a huge portfolio that the current Minister of Jobs and Families is responsible for. So we are not a top priority.
We asked the federal government for an explanation as to why payments haven't been made. A spokesperson didn't directly answer our question, saying in part, they are pleased to confirm that the majority of CDB payments are completed. A limited number of client payments remain outstanding due to an isolated systems issue.
You don't start a program and then drop the ball. Thank you very much. You people are getting a paycheck. You got a paycheck because you can get food. I don't got a paycheck and I got no food.
There was some good news late this afternoon. Following our questions to the federal government, we began to hear from some who say they've now received their deposits. Adrian Gobriel, CTV News,
Aurora, Ontario.
A Toronto company is working on a plan to replace the tunnel bus, which stops running at the end of this month. The company, ABC Coach, says they will be using coach buses, which offer a more comfortable ride. The price remains the same, $10 per person each way, but there will be passes for those who use the bus more frequently. The service is expected to start the first week of September. The City of Windsor's tunnel bus stops running on August 31st. The special events bus will continue running into December. More details on this new service is expected next week. Encouraging signs on Canada's economy today as June numbers show an increase in retail sales by more than 1.5%. Kamil Karmali now on why we're seeing growth when many predicted a recession.
Retail analysts say this growth doesn't necessarily show signs of a super strong economy, but it's not as bad as many expected given the trade war. Retail sales rose 1.5% to more than $70 billion. That's because all 9 Canadian sectors showing either no change or an increase in sales for June. The sectors with the highest increases compared to May: clothing with over 5% growth, building material with supplies with over 2%, and food and beverage seeing more than a 2% increase in sales. Across the country, Ontario saw one of the biggest retail sale increases at over 3%. Quebec remained unchanged, while BC and Alberta saw 1.5% and 1% increases in sales. In May, retail sales slumped, dropping more than 1%, largely because of a fall in vehicle sales, with tariffs on aluminum and steel and the trade war playing a role. But for June, auto sales remained mostly unchanged, climbing less than 1%.
If we talk about, for things from a consumer standpoint, we are still seeing wage gains happening. The labor market is starting to, contract a little bit, but not a heck of a lot yet. It's mostly concentrated in tariff-related sectors where we're starting to see the bleeding happen. And so as a result, consumers are still spending.
As for July, Statistics Canada says retail sales are expected to drop by 0.8%. Kamil Karamali, CTV News, Toronto.
Canada's main stock index gained today as the federal government announced it would remove some of its retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods, lifting hopes for a trade deal. In Toronto, the TSX added 278 points. In New York, the Dow gained 846, while the Nasdaq is up 396. The Canadian dollar gained a fifth of a cent today. On commodity markets, gold gained almost $37 an ounce, and oil is up 14 cents a barrel.
Start your day with the latest local news. By signing up for our newsletter, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca.
Neighbors came to the rescue of a family this morning in Georgetown after their home went up in flames. Take a look.
And we just like, yo, just jump, just jump. The first kid jumped, Patrick caught him. The second kid, we got him. And then the husband and wife, we got a ladder from the neighbor.
The homeowner says the family were woken up by a series of loud booms. It appears a powerful electrical fire erupted in the garage where 2 electric vehicles were parked. The family of 4 escaped out of a bedroom window, then screamed for help from the roof. The Ontario Fire Marshal is now investigating, but at this point, the fire is not considered suspicious. Henry Ford Hospital in Detroit is mourning the loss of a team member tonight following a targeted and deadly shooting. The hospital went into lockdown after authorities say a man shot a woman who was an employee of the hospital. The shooting took place in the basement of the hospital. Police say the victim was allegedly shot by her ex-husband. The suspect fled the scene and remains at large. The hospital is back open to all patients and visitors. Meantime, 5 people people are now believed to be dead following a tour bus crash in New York State. The crash happened on a highway about 45 kilometers east of Buffalo early this afternoon. New York police say more than 50 people were on the bus. They say the driver lost control, hit the median, and then crashed into a ditch. Police haven't said how many people so far were killed. That has since changed to 5 people at this point in time. But they say can confirm that one child has passed. The bus is believed to have been en route to New York City after a trip to Niagara Falls.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Julie joins us again for one final look at the weather.
Thanks so much, Stephanie. Tomorrow we'll start the day with sun, a mix of sun and cloud in the afternoon with a chance of evening showers, possibility of a thunderstorm. Sunday we're back into a mix of sun and cloud, but there'll be times through the day on Sunday where the clouds will take over and then we'll see a few peaks of sunshine, but a 30% chance of showers. The cool air makes the move for Monday, a mix of sun and cloud into Tuesday. We're at 21, sunshine Wednesday, Thursday, and we'll make it into the mid-20s as we head toward the end of next week. Have a fantastic weekend, everyone, and we'll see you again soon.
Fresh from the farm, the corn is now boiling and the butter flowing with the return of the Tecumseh Corn and Music Festival. This is from earlier today, thousands of cobs being served up at McAuliffe Park. It starts with volunteers loading corn onto a conveyor belt. From there, a husking machine strips off the outer layer before volunteers double check and clean what's missed. Next, the cobs dropped into a giant cooker, heated to about 200 degrees. That stays there for about 12 minutes, what organizers say is the perfect number in a long-running debate about how long to cook corn. Once it's done, the corn is doused in butter and raced to the front of the line. The festival has wrapped up for tonight, but continues throughout the weekend with live music, rides, and all the corn you can handle.
We have our adult volunteers from the Optimist Club of St. Clair Beach. We have student volunteers from all the local high schools from Windsor, Essex County. They come out and we start on Tuesday. We set up the fence, we set up all of the tables and chairs, the garbage cans, everything. We make it look good. We have over 200 volunteers here, so it's no small task.
That's your news for tonight. Thank you for joining us and enjoy your weekend.